Welcome to Fantasy Plus. We're in the playoffs now. Hope you made it. Some of us here did.
Hold on, we're not in the playoffs. The two of us aren't in the playoffs. Let's rephrase that one there, Aaron.
I was talking to the audience. Yeah. Hope you're in the playoffs. I wish we were in the playoffs.
There we go.
Depending on the league, Phil and Alec are joining, guys. Here we are, Week 15.
We made
Let's go.
It's postseason time,
Yeah.
and even if you're not in the playoffs, let's still roster a team. All right.
Right.
There's still things to play for in the consolation rounds.
Don't give up yet.
And
Please.
if you're in the WOODTV League, there is still something to play for.
Right.
It's true.
Your life in the league. Let's jump ahead to Thursday night. Let's get it rolling for Week
Yes.
15. Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Bucks. Atlanta 4-9. They've come off 2 straight losses. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. Tampa Bay 7-6. They just lost to New Orleans, so they're trying to get the NFC South. A lot on the line here Thursday night.
Look, the story of Bijan Havers is a tough one because that guy every week should be giving you 110 points. And if you're in the playoffs and you have him, you're going to start him, and you're just going to pray, and you're going to hope that you get prime Bijan. Now, this is a defense that let up a decent chunk of points to a struggling still Saints offense, even though they have a new hope at quarterback. So, looking at positional values here, the wide receivers, those are touch and go in Atlanta. Bijan's touch and go in Atlanta. So just looking at that team, it's like at this point, you start the guys that got you there, and Bijan technically did. So I think you got to run it back. I don't see this Bucs defense being that good, but the issue with the Falcons is they're the Falcons, and they love to frustrate.
If you look at the Buccaneers, we actually just got the news from Adam Schefter that they are activating Jalen McMillan and Mike Evans back from injured reserve. So if you maybe have stuck on to those guys, hung on to them, kept them on your bench and everything, might be time to play them against. I mean, Atlanta's got a pretty stingy pass defense. It's mainly the running game that would probably get you the most points. But you got to think Tampa Bay wants to avenge that loss to New Orleans. They're going to get Mike Evans back. There's still a chance for him to get 1,000 yards. You never know. So maybe they try to force feed him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect, especially because that Saints secondary doesn't. I'm sorry, not the Saints. The Falcons secondary doesn't amaze me here either. So I do think there's points to be had.
Right.
And this is the point too. Now this is in many leagues do or die. So nothing better than getting out on a hot start.
Right.
So I understand the desire to get points early on that Thursday night game. With those receivers coming back, with that team trying to prove themselves after losing to the Saints, I would expect some swings, and it's not like the Falcons' defense is all world. So I think the good thing about this, and I think just for people who like football too, is I think this will be a game where points will be had. I feel a lot better about Bucs players than Falcons players because that is a frustrating team, but points are to be had today or Thursday.
The line opened at Tampa Bay 6. But that might be even better now that those guys are coming back. All right. There's some cold weather across the United States, if you haven't noticed. Blake Harms is going to take a look at what games might be affected by cold and or snow this week.
Well, as we get deeper into the season, we start to see some more interesting weather patterns into December, and that's going to be the case for this weekend. I want you to focus on this big purple blob. Going to move down right into the Great Lakes over the next few days and really right into the day Sunday. And that means any games being played outdoors in the Midwest this weekend are going to be very, very cold. Let's take a look at a few of those. So the coldest I could find looks to be Cleveland at Chicago. High temperature Sunday of 11 degrees. Wind chills likely down near 0, if not below. Good news is it's going to be sunny, but that is going to be a bone-chillingly cold game for just about everyone that's going to be packing into Soldier Field. Now, as we look at Baltimore heading to Cincinnati, just about as cold. High temperature expected to be at 17, but similarly, we'll have mostly sunny skies. So the temperatures will really be the only thing to contend with. That's enough, I think, for most folks. And again, that looks to be the coldest few games as we head into the day Sunday. We are tracking a rainy game. Looks like Seattle, they've had a ton of rain over the past week, and it looks like they'll have a chance against Sunday. Temps in the mid-50s as Indianapolis heads there, but with that being a 425 game, of course, one of the bigger games of the weekend, that will bear close watching. As we look at the best weather games, that looks to be in Jacksonville, Florida. Surprise, surprise, as the Jets head down to Florida. Temperatures in the low 70s under sunny skies. And another one that looks just about as nice, and this is a big matchup too, Green Bay at the Broncos in Denver. Temperatures in the low 60s under mostly sunny skies. So it's going to depend on where you are, as we expect this time of year, right? Some very, very cold games expected. No doubt going to have an impact on some of the gameplay. We will have to watch the Monday night game, for potentially some snow in Pennsylvania. Also going to be very cold with temperatures down in the teens there as well. But depending on where you are, it's going to be quite different across the United States for this weekend slate of NFL games.
All right, thanks, Blake. We got some cold weather to worry about there and some snow maybe in Pittsburgh. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the schedule. Cleveland, Chicago, Alec.
You want to talk about cold weather? The forecast for that one is, I think, -10 with wind chill.
Yeah.
So if you have a Bears receiver, or if you think Shadur is going to keep this rolling, maybe he will. Totally possible, but it's going to be Arctic on the lakefront, and that's a thing to look out for. To me, and I'll need to look into more numbers backing this, I feel a lot better starting a player in a decently snowy game, kind of like what we saw with Cincinnati and the Bills last week,
right,
as opposed to a your fingers are falling off cold game. I think that really affects the passing game. I think if we're talking Bears, we saw that when they played the Packers last week. I think really cold games are really bad for offenses. But if you have, say, Kyle Monangai or Quinshon Jenkins, or you have some of those running backs, someone's got to score points. Running backs are your guy when it comes down to when it's -10-degree wind chill. So that's my warning about that game.
Harder to catch the ball, too, when your fingers are hurting.
Right.
Phil, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at the two big running back names being Kyle Monangai and Quinshon Judkins, like Alec just said. I think if you've got those guys, you're definitely playing them. But again, you're probably a little bit worried about this Cleveland defense, kind of maybe stopping the run a little bit, especially with it being so cold. So again, I don't think you really are going to overthink this one too hard. If you've got those guys, play them. If not, maybe just avoid this game altogether.
Yeah, this is the time of year where you got to really rely on these forecasts. Because just like what we heard Aaron say, it's hard to catch the ball when the weather's trying to kill you. So I really think you have to reevaluate when it comes down to, even if it's one of your safest, most reliable wide receivers, if the weather takes away the passing game, it's going to take away your fantasy points. So always be careful. Check your forecast before you start your guys.
Next up, AFC North battle, Speaking of trying to catch the ball, Baltimore, Cincinnati, both teams trying to stay alive.
And we're going to get some swings here. I got to see what the Cincinnati forecast is. I'm guessing it's not
cold,
beautiful out there. I don't think
it's people... not tropical out there.
Yeah, I don't think snowbirds are going to get some skyline chili and go to the beach. But I do know these two teams are desperate because we're running out of runway. And both these teams still have an inside track, so have a shot at making the playoffs or contending for their division. So we're going to see some more swings out of both these teams. They're not eliminated. They're rivals, so they're going to go for it. Two playmakers on both sides of the ball. So look at the forecast, but also understand that we're going to get desperate. And while Derrick Henry has had a bit of a down year, we are going to see a lot of run game here, but both of these teams default to passing. So we will see attempts. Will they be successful in this weather? That's the question.
And T. Higgins, of course, is questionable with a concussion in this one. So, again, this Bengals offense is totally different with Joe Burrow behind center. I still like them in this matchup, honestly. I think that they kind of have this new built momentum. The defense is still really shoddy, though. So, I think if you've got Derrick Henry or maybe like a Mark Andrews, probably safe to play them against this Bengals defense. But, again, the forecast is going to play a huge role in this, whether or not we see kind of a more focused running game from Baltimore, if they maybe try to spread it out a little bit more, too.
Last week I hyped up Kyle Pitts against the Seahawks defense. Well, the Cincinnati defense is the worst against tight ends, so Andrews and Likely play him in this one.
Definitely.
If they can catch the ball. Next up, Los Angeles coming off the big win, 2 wins in a row. Kansas City, 2 losses in a row. And they can't win their division.
Yeah, stop playing Chiefs players for the most part. This has been rough, and it really comes down to just a lot of dysfunction on offense. I think we were all weary of drafting Patrick Mahomes, and I think we're now knowing why. It's just that offense isn't clicking. It's got issues, and this Chargers offense is a bit of start and stop too. It's solid, but it can get cold. But man, I mean, if unless you're getting real desperate, I don't see a ton of Chiefs that I feel really comfortable putting into my lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I don't think is going to throw 4 interceptions again. So I think, if you do have him, you're kind of relying on him to maybe be your quarterback I don't think it's going to happen again to have him have that big of a down game. But again, there's still not a whole lot of players on the Chiefs offensive side that I'm, gushing over. And the Chiefs defense, I mean, yeah, they gave up 20 points, but, they kind of kept them in the game against Houston last week. So wouldn't be surprised if, the defense again kind of stops the Chargers, and kind of again, Justin Herbert, we don't know how healthy he really is. He's still dealing with that hand injury. It looks like he ran the ball pretty well in the last game, but again, that Eagles defense kind of similar, where I feel like they're going to put a lot of pressure on him to kind of make decisions. It's going to be a low scoring game, I think, in that one.
Not to mention, this is a warm weather team visiting balmy Kansas City, so it's just like, temper your expectations a little bit, at least in terms of the passing game, when you compound that with the injury. This might be a low-scoring game, which is not what we're looking for in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah.
We got 2 good kickers in this one, so
Yeah.
you put that on your lineup. And then you get some running backs, definitely for the Chargers. Kansas City's kind of a mess on the running back front. Moving on, Buffalo 9-4, New England 11-2, a huge AFC East battle. Buffalo 2 wins in a row. New England 10 straight wins before their bye week.
Now we're talking.
Queued it up for you.
Now we're talking. Now we got some fantasy points here. You have a Buffalo offense that had a really excellent showing last week and is now playing a Patriots team that has a solid defense, has some really good cornerbacks, but Josh Allen's going to Josh Allen, and I think he's getting comfortable. I'm not sure how good this team is as a whole. I'm not talking like their actual playoffs, but I do know we will get production. And on the other end, this is a Buffalo pass defense that struggles. They got gashed last week. I don't expect them to really have an excellent job limiting the current MVP favorite, if not close to MVP favorite, in Drake May. This is going to be what I hope is a points fest minus, again, that New England weather. This is the one where I feel good getting guys in my lineup for the playoffs.
Well, how many times have we seen Tom Brady in bad New England weather games kind of pop off? And I think, Drake May, obviously he's not Tom Brady, but he has been having an amazing season right now. I do think this is going to be an offensive explosion. It's going to be kind of difficult to maybe not pick up as many Patriots and Bills players as you possibly can, because I feel like there are points all around, whether you look at the running backs for either team, the wide receivers, both quarterbacks we know are going to have really good games. So again, I think a spoil of riches in this game for sure.
And if I had to just imagine how this game's going to go, I imagine the Patriots get to an early lead just because that team is solid, and then I imagine the Bills uncork and really try to take some swings. Again, points aplenty at this one.
Right. We go from playoff-bound teams to teams not playoffs. Washington 3-10. They've lost 8 games in a row. The Giants 2-11, and somehow they feel better.
Yeah.
They've lost 7 straight before their bye. Both teams eliminated from the playoffs. But there are some fantasy points here.
What, do you like Marcus Mariota? You want him again? You want to put him back out there because Daniels got hurt again?
Jackson Dart. Give me Jackson
Dart. Yep. I see some potential. That Washington defense is bad. Really, really bad. Lions fans remember when they absolutely lit them up on the road. So, yes, now's a good time to play some Giants. If you're holding on to some Commanders right now, you're probably not in the playoffs because I don't see anybody here doing too much. But it's a good time to start some Giants. I know they kind of run that split backfield in wake of the Scatterbo injury, but even Singletary or Tracy, I think, will eat. I think those receivers will eat. And Dart is a mobile quarterback, and that defense will let them score. So start some Giants.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Wan'Dale Robinson have a great game against Detroit, and Detroit's defense, for as bad as they've looked at times, they are nowhere near as bad as this Commanders defense. So I think he could have a really big game. Again, I'm probably avoiding all Commanders. I do have Deebo Samuel on my team, but I probably have not played him in the past 4 or 5 weeks ever since Jaden Daniels went down, because, again, Jaden Daniels, I don't think he's got enough credit for what he did to that team last year for taking them all the way to the NFC Championship, just seeing how bad they've been this year without him.
Well, plus they have the harder schedule this year than they had last year.
Also true.
All right, Phil, we got 2 teams with passionate fan bases.
Yeah. That's one way of putting it.
The Raiders and the Eagles.
Yes.
The Eagles are 8-5, but the sky is falling because they've lost 3 straight. Vegas 2-11. They've lost 7 straight. They're eliminated from the playoffs. Phil, do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, sure, why not?
As usual.
I always hate being the team that is everybody's bounce back game against. But in this case, I'll take it because I've got Devontae Smith on my team, and I think from what we saw with Jalen Hurts and what we've been seeing these past couple of weeks in particular, I mean, that Eagles offense is rough. But again, this is the Raiders defense we're talking about, who have looked abysmal throughout the year. I don't have any Raiders. I would stay away from them. Even last week, I said maybe Genty, maybe Brock Brock Bowers. Don't play any of them. That Raiders offense is anemic. Do not play any Raiders that you've got. If you could trade them, get rid of them at this point, honestly. Eagles, I think it's going to be a renewed sense of relief for Eagles fans. I think they're going to have a really good offensive game. So if you got Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Saquon, Jalen Hurts, play them all. They're going to have a great game.
I also kind of think the death of the Eagles is a little grossly exaggerated.
Yes.
You look at the games that they lost. They ran into a really hot Cowboys team. They lost to a hot Bears team, and then they lost to a 9-4 Chargers team. Are we going to pretend like everything's falling apart? Like, yes, the offense has struggled.
Right.
It sure has, and that might still struggle against the Raiders here, but. I'm not going to make fun of Phil's favorite team. He did it already.
No, make fun of them.
Well,
yeah.
the Raiders are the Raiders, right? So I do think there's still some talent on this team. I don't know how offensively efficient they're going to be because that's been the big red flag of this offense. And we heard A.J. Brown a couple weeks ago say, take me off your fantasy team. So I would say if you got them, you play them. But I would not assume that's where the majority of your points are going, and that goes from Hurts all the way down. I just don't know who's going to be the bell cow, but someone will score points against this Raiders defense. It's just kind of a mystery of who it's going to be.
And that was me being sarcastic. I'm making fun of the Eagles fans that are booing
Yes,
their home team when
yes.
they have first place in their own division.
Yeah.
Like they didn't win last year. Speaking of teams that are trying to win, the New York Jets 3-10. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. Jacksonville 9-4. They've won 4 in a row. They lead the AFC South. We got some options here in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, Jacksonville looks really good right now. I really like them. Jacoby Myers, who was a Raider at the beginning of the year before being traded to Jacksonville, he's had a touchdown in each of his last 3 games. I think him and Trevor Lawrence have a really good connection going. I really like him in this one. Travis Etienne, another guy who's also had really great games against really poor run defenses. And, he's another guy that can kind of come out of the backfield and catch a couple passes too. Those are the 2 guys I think are going to really explode this week.
Yeah, Jacksonville is that team this year where you get sneaky production from guys. It just feels like no one talks about the Jags. That's not fair. I think it's a good team. But yeah, just exactly what Phil said. Myers has been like under the radar, but has been a sneaky just fantasy league winner, honestly, the production he's had. So I feel great playing them against the Jets. I don't know who you'd have on the Jets at this point if you're in the playoffs. With Wilson long out, I don't.
Right.
Who's the guy you're excited about? But for Jacksonville, this is a defense that's been struggling. This is a efficient, productive team, especially when it comes to a couple key players. I like them here. I like running your guys against the Jets.
Also, if in your league they're available, Jacksonville Jaguars, look at their next couple matchups. If you're in the playoffs, either rung of the consolation bracket or the winner's bracket, Jacksonville's got some great matchups coming up if you're looking for a defense to spot start. All right, last matchup of the 1 o'clock hour, Arizona, Houston. Arizona 3-10, 5 losses in a row. They've been eliminated, but Brissett has been putting up some fantasy points. And then you got Houston on the other end. They're 1 game behind the Jaguars. They've won 5 in a row.
Houston's a team that's really hitting its stride at the right time. I am afraid of playing Brissett against that defense. That might be the best defense in the league. And they have been frustrating offenses. I know Brissett's a super high volume, high attempt kind of guy. He set a record this season, right? But against this defense, I'd exercise a little bit of caution. But if you got Nico Collins, you got C.J. Stroud, I got no issue running Woody Marks. I got no issue letting any of those guys up. They have been on an upward trajectory, and this is against a down and out Cardinals squad. You're at home, and you've really been finding your stride. This is a great spot from points from one side of the aisle. I'm struggling, though, to really find a lot of Cardinals that I feel really good about playing on the other end.
Yeah, I mean, Jacoby Brissett has actually been super helpful for me, given that Justin Herbert's been, dealing with that injury the past couple of weeks. He's been helping me out big time. But as soon as I saw that he was playing Houston this week, I was like, all right, well, I've got Houston's defense, and they, the entire season, have kept me in games in the fantasy season. So, again, I think you avoid all the Cardinals. I don't, outside of just production numbers from Jacoby Brissett, I don't know who else is going to actually be having a good game on that end. The Cardinals already eliminated. You got to think Houston's probably just going to try and put the game away as early as possible, rely on that defense, and just come away with a win.
Yeah, we're done with buys, so I don't think you consider any Cardinals, not even Michael Wilson at this point.
No.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the 4 o'clock games and our league. We're in the playoffs. We're all in a playoff. Welcome back to Fantasy Plus. We're going through the Week 15 schedule. It's playoffs for most of you. It's almost playoffs for the NFL. Next up, we got Green Bay, Denver. Green Bay 9-3-1, holding on to the NFC North with 4 straight wins. Denver 11-2. They won 10 straight games before the bye. No, sorry, they weren't on bye. They won 10 straight games. They lead the AFC West.
Yeah.
Ironically, this is a 60-degree forecast.
Oh, well, that's terrific. It's the
You
shame
would
is
think 2 cold weather teams.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the shame is this, what, 97 Super Bowl, 98 rematch? The shame
Yeah.
about this one is that both defenses are really, really good. And that gives me a lot of pause. The Packers defense has some of the best pass rush in the NFL, and that secondary is no joke. And the Denver defense, I think, is why they're here right now. That is their best unit, and they are stacked across the board. We've seen a very interesting Packers team these last couple of weeks. We've seen a gutsier team, a team that's going for it more. They went for it countless times against the Lions, and that proved to be good or helped them out in their advantage. They took some major gambles against the Bears in terms of deep passes, and they panned out. So I'm expecting deep shots. I definitely am. I'm worried for fantasy points about how stingy this secondary is for Denver, how good this defense is. This one's a gamble, in my opinion. I think there are points to be had. This Denver offense has been kind of hit and miss, and this Packers defense is no joke. I'd be more scared to play Broncos, but if we're talking just from a Packers point of view, I think it's a really good offense. I'm just worried about the defense they're facing on the road.
Yeah, I think if you're a Lions fan, you're obviously rooting for the Broncos, and Jordan Love has looked fantastic these last 2 weeks in particular, but kind of the same thing. I don't really like this matchup, honestly, just because of how good the defenses are. I would say, honestly, if you can, maybe keep a couple of these guys, like Romeo Doubs, Josh Jacobs, Cortland Sutton maybe, or RJ Harvey, guys on the both sides of them. Maybe keep them on your bench and then kind of see where you are at, going into those late afternoon games. Maybe take a big swing with one of those guys. Other than that, though, I wouldn't try and rest assured that one of these guys on either side of the ball are really going to be, making or breaking your game this week.
The safest I feel is Josh Jacobs. That guy usually is good for a touchdown. The offense does still run a lot through him, but I don't think, to Phil's point, you're going to get a classic premium Josh Jacobs game.
I think Josh Jacobs game.
Right. I think you'll get a high floor, and I
Yeah.
think that's all situational. If you think you're going to lose this matchup, if your opponent is favored to beat you by a couple points, maybe you bench Jacobs for a higher ceiling guy. But if you're up, here's a good floor option. It's just you got to play the position at that point.
Yeah, I'd be scared about playing any of the wide receivers for Green Bay. I'd be scared of playing the running backs for Denver. So
Well, the worst part about the Packers, high ceiling, Christian Watson. That's a guy who catches 3 catches a game, and they're all for 50-plus yards.
They're all touchdowns.
Right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like an Isaac Tesla situation. So there are risks to be had that can pay out. You just got to really analyze each position and where you are with your matchup.
yeah, but if you need a guaranteed 10 points,
It's tough.
I'd be careful. Okay, so this is the one that Lions fans are excited about. Seahawks fans are excited about. Goff versus Stafford. Detroit 8-5, coming off the Thursday night win. Los Angeles 10-3. They beat Arizona. They're tied atop the NFC West with my Seahawks. A lot of fantasy points. We're indoors. Time for a track meet.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm a little scared of this Lions offense still. I'm going to say that, especially when it comes to guys like how good do you feel about Jameson Williams getting points?
Not
You know what I mean? So it's like looking at that Cowboys game, they couldn't get the run going with Gibbs. He still got points because he's an excellent receiver as well.
Yeah.
But they could not establish the run, and they found themselves in 2nd and 9 and 3rd and 9 often in that Cowboys game. Now, against that Cowboys secondary, they could get out of it because guys like Amon-Ra, guys like Gibbs are so slippery, and they can just – and Williams too. They can get yards after catch incredibly easily. Will it happen against this Rams team? I don't know. I don't see them establishing a run as better than they did against the Cowboys. That's a really good inside interior defensive line.
Yeah.
So it comes down to the question you have to ask yourself is, can these Lions skill guys outplay a talented Rams secondary? I think they definitely can. I'm just not going to walk into this thinking, no-brainer start Amon-Ra, no-brainer start J-Mo, no-brainer start Goff and Gibbs, because it's a weird season for the Lions. They still get offensive production, but it feels like it's one guy gets 200 yards and everybody else is 50, 30, 20.
Right.
So this isn't as safe as I'd like it to be situation for the Lions. The Rams, though, absolutely. That's an offense that lights everybody up. The Lions' defense is solid, but I think they're going to find success on the ground with Williams and with Corum. They're going to find success with receivers like Puka. Stafford's going to do fine. But the Lions' offense gives me just the briefest of pauses when it comes down to do-or-die situations that we're in right now in the postseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if you're looking at Detroit, I think the Rams defense is great. I mean, I feel like they're going to really hone in on Amon-Ra and probably really hone in on Jahmyr Gibbs. So those two guys probably still going to have good weeks. I don't think you avoid playing them, especially since how good they've been. But I would look towards David Montgomery and even Jamison Williams a little bit. I feel like those are two guys that might just not get as much attention as some of the other skilled players and then be able to kind of have bigger gains or maybe get a couple of touchdowns and, big plays for this Detroit Lions offense. As for the Rams, though, I mean, you got to think Stafford wants big-time revenge against Detroit. I think he's going to have a really, really solid game. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, of course. And, yeah, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. I think you play your Rams more. I feel more confident in the Rams than I do the Lions in this one.
Has Stafford ever beaten the Lions? He hasn't, right?
I don't believe so, no.
He's 0-2, I think.
Yeah, he's 0-2.
Yeah, so we may see a more fired-up Matt Stafford. And to Phil points too, I think what defenses can do sometimes is limit Amon-Ra, which opens up chances for J-Mo.
Yeah.
That totally happens too. Mm-hmm. There will be a Lion who eats, I think, on Sunday. The issue is figuring out who, and that's where I have my caution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the coaching staff for the Lions watched our show last week, Phil, because we talked about the kickers and having a kicker on a team that, they don't always go for it on fourth down. They kick some field goals, and look, Jake Bates.
God bless Jake Bates. He got me 15 points last week.
So they listened to us.
Yeah.
They listened to us. Not that they really listened to us. Maybe they're watching. Carolina, New Orleans. Carolina's 7-6. They won right before the bye week. They're tied atop the NFC South with the Bucs. New Orleans 3-10. They got their third win last week against Tampa Bay, which is why they're in a tie right now. They're eliminated from the playoffs, but they are playing some ball.
There could be some points here. This is a sneaky points game.
Yeah.
Just kind of like what I said with Houston. Carolina's a team that's hitting its stride. I don't think as well as Houston is, but that offense is starting to gel, and it's been good whenever you get Tet McMillan out there. Hubbard's been well, too. It's like that's a team on offense that's really starting to find its own. So I feel good against a struggling Saints defense to play those guys. But on the other end, again, this is a Saints team that has nothing really to play for now, but they're getting some points on the board. Mm-hmm. This Carolina team has a bit better defense, in my opinion, but by no means are they shut down. I feel good about both sides of the ball here when it comes down to those premium roles. Mainly, though, for Carolina. Chuba and Tet, those guys are guys you're playing every week. I feel there's no issue to move them in your lineup come this week.
Yeah. Never thought I would say I hope Jared Goff plays like Bryce Young against the Rams this week. But Bryce Young had a really good game last week. I don't know if I think he's going to replicate that. I do expect him to, hang on to the ball, maybe throw a touchdown or two. But I'm looking at the running backs for Carolina in this one. I feel like Carolina is going to stop New Orleans with their defense that's been really great this year. And then they're going to rely on the running backs, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard. I think they're going to get an early lead, 10, 14 points, run out the clock, call it a game. I mean, we could see both guys go for over 100 just based off the amount of carries they might be getting.
The line started at Carolina -3, so looks like we might go that way. Not this week, but New Orleans is another defense to look at if you're looking for defense in the playoffs. The next 2 weeks after this week, look for the New Orleans defense if you need a defense in the playoffs. Tennessee 2-11. They got their second win against the Browns. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. San Francisco 9-4, 3 straight wins before the bye week. Yeah.
This is like if we're talking like interior decorating and we're gonna compare it to games, this is like inside of a dentist's office. Like it's not offensive, right? It's like it does the job. There's magazines and the wall's a nice eggshell, but nothing's amazing here. This is a Niners offense that's been struggling, man, especially from a fantasy point. Like they're successful and they're winning you games, and guys are definitely scoring touchdowns, but not consistently enough where I'm excited to fire up anybody, really. At least when it comes to the passing game. I mean, you're always going to have a guy like McCaffrey out there. Yeah. On the other end, what are you doing if you have any Titans right now? You're not in the playoffs. Can we be serious for a second? Who on this team are you like, yeah, this is really going to turn things around for my fantasy team? So, again,
Pollard had a decent week last week.
okay,
but that's about it.
sure.
He's a good flex.
He's a good flex.
Yeah.
That's about it, right? This is one that is the least exciting out of all of them almost.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to pass on San Francisco if you're the Titans and you want to win this game. But who is Cam Ward throwing the ball to?
Me.
I don't really know which receivers that you would even pick for Cam Ward to throw to. I will say, though, Juwan Jennings for the 49ers, he's had 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games. I would say if you're going to pick a guy to maybe get you some points, if you need a flex, maybe Juwan Jennings is the guy you go to. But again, I'm with Alec. I'm kind of staying away from this one, too.
This is the desperate. I need to play someone, and I
Right.
hope I win the playoffs game. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the game that I'm more excited about then. Seattle. I mean, come on. Philip Rivers
I
coming out
gotta
of
say
retirement.
this: if you are picking up Philip Rivers against the Seahawks and you're in the playoffs, you do not deserve to be in the playoffs. But I love you.
Yeah.
I love you because you're gonna take this 44-year-old man against one of the best defenses in the NFL, and you're gonna say, "Go win me my fantasy playoff game." You are incredible and you are dangerous. But I would never do that. This Colts offense should get ripped apart this week. What's going on? How is this happening in today's NFL?
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's no bye week excuse to take Philip Rivers.
no, you just want to light up your playoffs, and I
Right.
think you're incredible. But if you're in a consolation league and you don't really care, but you still want to field the team, get Philly in there. He's an actual grandpa. That's awesome. Yes, the Seahawks should do just fine. You run any Seahawks. I mean, we all know that JSN's going to get 100 billion yards because he gets 100 billion yards every game. Darnold should do just fine. Anyone on that offense should do just fine because not only is this Colts team reeling, it lost its quarterback, it lost Sauce Gardner. It just seems like the magic that we saw the first 8 or so weeks of the season, we finally reached midnight on the magical clock, and we're back into a pumpkin here. So I got nothing. I got nothing here for the Colts, but it's a good time to play any and all Seahawks.
Yeah, I think specifically receivers for the Seahawks, if you weren't already playing them, you're definitely playing them now with Sauce Gardner out. I think I personally would pick up Philip Rivers just because I think it would be funny. And,
Yes.
you got to support other people.
Just because you're named Phil, yeah. I knew it. I saw it.
But, I don't, you're not doing it to hopefully save your season. Maybe if you're just trying to have fun these last couple of weeks, but again, why are you doing that?
You know what? I might pick up Philip Rivers. I think I've talked myself. I'm out of the playoffs. I might just do it and start him this week.
Because what if he does pop up?
Darn right.
What if he has a Joe Flacco moment against the Steelers? He kind of has.
I will Vince McMahon walk into the office and I will start pointing at everyone saying,
Right.
"That was me. I did this today."
What is happening? The Colts have lost 3 straight games. They're down to 8-5. Seattle's won 3 straight games, 10-3. We're tied with the Rams, top the West. So let's do it. Let's go Hawks.
That's right.
We got the Sunday night game, Minnesota, Dallas. Minnesota 5-8. They beat the lowly Washington Commanders, which ended their 4-game losing streak. Dallas is 6-1. They lost to Detroit, which ended their 3-game win streak. And CeeDee Lamb concussion protocol Sunday night, NBC.
You got to watch that. You need to closely watch that. And what stinks about that is it's your Sunday night game. So if he's a game time decision, man, I hope you can pick up, I don't know, like Jordan Addison or someone quickly. But I don't know what to expect from this one. I'm going to be honest because this is a Vikings offense that, has been a joke. It just has not worked. And then it kind of came alive a little bit against, the Commanders defense that we were so full of praise for. But it's not like this Cowboys defense is by any means elite. They put some good games together, but we saw it against the Lions. I mean, they did struggle, and there are some playmakers on that Vikings offense. So am I overly confident that we'll finally get a good game out of Justin Jefferson? No. Jordan Addison? No. I think JJ only threw to tight ends in that win over the Commanders for touchdowns. But I do think there's a chance. So I do think if you don't have a better option than any of those receivers, those pass catchers on Minnesota's end, then yeah, I think you feel okay keeping them in those starting spots. On the other end with Dallas, if obviously CeeDee's gone, then it's Pickens this day as long as he wants to run routes and play the game because he gave up against the Lions last Thursday, but he got you into the playoffs. No way around it. That's another league winner. So especially if CeeDee's gone, oh, you're firing up Pickens. I think Dak has a decent bounce back game. But a thing to keep in mind is even though this Vikings team has struggled, that defense is really good. It is still a really good defense. We saw what they did against the Lions. We saw what they did really in a lot of close losses. So I would be somewhat tempering my expectations. I think guys like Williams and Pickens and Dak will have a decent day, but this is a defense that makes you earn it. And they don't usually get gashed.
I think this is going to be a big Justin Jefferson game. I am getting major flashbacks to Randy Moss in the purple Vikings jerseys running through Dallas back on Thanksgiving Day, all of those years back. So I think he could have a really big game. But yeah, I mean, if CeeDee Lamb is out, you're going to definitely be starting George Pickens. But that Vikings defense is very good, especially against the pass. Don't be banking your entire game on either Pickens or Lamb in this one.
All right, last game of the Week 15 slate, Miami-Pittsburgh. Miami 4 straight wins. They're now 6-7. Pittsburgh 7-6. They beat Baltimore. They're first in the AFC North. And the weather report is cold and possible snow in Pittsburgh.
Well, we know how the story it goes with Miami and cold weather games.
Right.
Do we have any update on
Achane?
Yes, on Achane.
That I've heard.
Okay, because a rib injury that might keep him out of this game.
Yeah.
If so, I mean that's a huge loss to one of the biggest producers on this Miami team. And Miami's in the cold, man. And even when they were good in the playoffs, that's some reason that team did not handle the cold well. And I don't think they'd handle it well against a decent Steelers defense. So I'm cold on the Dolphins. Oh, man, Pittsburgh's one of those teams where you know points are coming, but you can't tell where they're going to come. You know you're going to get some points on the ground, so you feel good about guys like Warren, but you just don't know who's going to be that guy that A-Rod targets. DK, obviously, usually a safe bet, but this is another one of those games where I look at the weather and I look at the options and I go, if you got them and you need them, you're going to play them, but I don't think points will come. I think points might come at a premium on Monday night.
Yeah. This is the second game that I'm completely out on. The weather is too much of a factor into this with all the Dolphins players. Again, I still don't really like Pittsburgh, both on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I don't know who to pick every single week, who's going to have a good game, what kind of decision making they're going to do, what Aaron Rodgers is going to be doing. So, again, I'm kind of avoiding this one. I think of it more so the last time these two teams played on Monday night was all the way back in 2007, and that game ended 3-0. So I think we could be very much in tune to maybe something more like that than maybe a barn burner.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll come back and talk about our league, see who's in the playoffs, and see who's trying to avoid getting kicked out of the league. We'll be back. All right, welcome back, Fantasy Plus. Some of us are in, some of us are out. Depends on which part of the bracket we're in first. So we're updating our league here at work. All three of us are in. We've got 12-team league. Cam with a huge win against Dan, 123-100. He gets into the playoffs. Jack comes up with a win. Gavin still made the playoffs. Phil with the top score of the week. Congrats, Phil.
Yeah, man, I did not see that coming at all. I'm pretty sure I've got 9 wins on the season. I'm pretty sure in 8 of those games I was projected to lose by a lot. So.
And the other side of the schedule, Brian beat Laney. That knocked Laney out of the playoff contention. Brad, sorry, Alec. Knocked you out of playoff contention.
I had to play JJ. He's my best player. And then
Yeah.
Achane was my second. He played half the game. I should tell you how my day went.
And that last score, I end the regular season with the win, but
Nice.
Matt and I had the lowest scores of the week. Both of our quarterbacks got hurt. Both of our quarterbacks had I had Tyrod Taylor. He had negative points. I was calling it Tyrod failure. But here we go. Dan and Matt are the top teams. The teams with the green are also in the playoffs. So it's basically the top 3 in both divisions. And it's been a rough season. Jack got up to 4, so at
Proud
least
of
him. There we go.
It wasn't the worst. So let's take a look at the schedule for the playoffs. Here you go. So number 1 and number 2, Dan and Matt get the bye in the first round, and then we've got Cam playing Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, you're gonna need your team to step up.
Definitely.
It's a tough matchup, and then Cam plays Brian. The last one in, Gavin. And then here's the other part of the bracket.
This is the cool part of the
Yeah.
bracket. I gotta play Brad
cool
again.
kids table.
Oh,
Yeah,
All right.
I made a note that you and Brad have faced multiple times.
yep.
He also beat you in week 8, so it's time for the revenge, Alec.
Yeah,
Get
you
your
know,
revenge.
it's time for something. I'm proud that I'm 7-7 because I've been in this league for 3 years now, and I've always finished exactly at 500. So if you need perfectly neutral
You're
takes,
predictable.
you want to hear from the independent party of Fantasy Plus, you're looking at them. Because I'm right down Broadway I take one step forward and exactly one step back every single week. So I just want to say I'm proud of that. And is that the best record in the consolation pool?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm the 1 seed, huh? Tough. But I don't know, man. This team this year has not gone my way. And I just hope I don't get relegated. I would like to get revenge against Brad, but I don't feel an inch of confidence, especially if H-Chan can't go, that I'll do anything.
You
When-
really are the Jeff Fisher of our time.
I am.
When you're in the first bracket, it's very unlikely for you to get relegated.
Do we have to lose 3 straight?
You'd have to lose 2 straight games,
Oh, I can do that.
Try and stop me.
and the other team. Yeah. Anyways, there's math and science.
Okay.
So then it's Laney and I in that second matchup, and then the 2 bottom teams, Mike, the defending champ, and Jack Doles in the bottom there. Basically, if you lose 2 games, you're probably the bottom 2 teams.
Okay.
But you're more likely if you're on the bottom to stay in the bottom.
Okay.
You're more likely if you're on the top to stay on the top. But just don't lose. There you go.
Yeah.
Don't lose twice.
I'll win 1 and I'll lose 1, knowing
There
me.
we go.
Yeah, don't lose twice. So that's where we stand as we all try to avoid the relegation for this season. Well, it's been fun. It's been a fun Week 14 recap, Week 15 look ahead. Phil, Alec, thank you for joining for this week, and we appreciate everybody for watching. If you're in the playoffs, not like the consolation playoffs, if you're in the real playoffs, good luck this week. And
What, bad luck if you're not in the play? I could
right.
use luck here, Aaron. Wish us luck too.
Yeah.
okay, good luck.
I will send everybody some luck.
Hey, you know
out
what?
there.
Good luck,
If
Alec.
the season didn't go your way,
want-
best of luck still. There.
Hey, I get to play Jack in another league, so we're both in the winners bracket.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, Alec, good luck against Brad. We want you to
Thanks.
get that revenge.
That'd be nice.
Get that third game go your way. That was kind of a clunky ending, but anyways, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you. We're off for the next 2 weeks for Christmas, and then we'll be back scheduled for the last week of the year.
All right.
We'll see you.